Trump called Modi. The conversation was straightforward, but neither one blinked. January 2025. Donald Trump returned to the White House. Day one message, America first. And India was in his crosshairs, because the numbers didn't lie. Trade deficit. Let's break that down. In 2024, the U.S. bought $83 billion worth of goods from India. India bought back only $47 billion from us. That's a $36 billion gap. Trump saw that as money walking out the door. He said publicly, India is taking advantage of us. But there was another issue burning just as hot. February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. The West imposed sanctions, cut off Russian oil. We expected India to do the same. They didn't. Instead, India did something that made Washington furious. They started buying more Russian oil. Before the war, India bought almost nothing from Russia. After the war, India became Russia's second biggest oil customer. 2023 numbers, India imported $46 billion worth of Russian crude oil, discounted oil, 30% cheaper than market price. Trump called it out during his campaign. India's funding Putin's war machine while we're trying to stop him. India's response was simple. We have 1.4 billion people to feed. We need cheap energy. But for Trump, this was betrayal. So now, Trump had two major problems with India. Problem one, trade deficit. What exactly does India sell to America? Generic medications, the pills keeping millions alive. IT services, the tech support you call at midnight. Textiles, your favorite cotton shirts. Auto parts, components in your car. Jewelry, those diamonds you proposed with. This is India's strength. And here's the thing, we need these products. But Trump believed the playing field wasn't level. Problem two, Russian oil. Every barrel India buys keeps Putin's economy alive, keeps his war machine funded, undermines Western sanctions, and makes America look weak. So February came with a decision, 10 to 25% tariffs on Indian imports. But this wasn't just about balancing a spreadsheet. There was a bigger game being played. Trump wanted manufacturing back on American soil, jobs for American workers, factories humming in the Rust Belt again. Make America great again wasn't just a slogan, and he wanted India to choose a side, us or Russia, not both. But India wasn't going to roll over. Prime Minister Modi's government understood the stakes. Stay silent, look weak. March brought India's counterpunch. Tariffs on American products. Almonds, 70% tariff hit California farmers hard. Harley-Davidson motorcycles, 50% tariff on an American icon. Apple products, import duties jumped. Medical devices, extra taxation. Bourbon whiskey, customs doubled on Kentucky's pride. The message was clear. You hit us, we hit back. But on Russian oil, India didn't budge. They doubled down, actually. Modi's argument, strategic autonomy, we don't take orders from anyone. So why did we really get here? The trade issues. We say India doesn't protect American patents and copyrights enough. Counterfeit goods flood their markets. Software piracy costs us billions. India passed laws requiring companies like Google, Facebook, and Amazon to store Indian user data on servers inside India. That's expensive. That's restrictive. India banned Amazon and Flipkart from selling their own products on their own platforms. We called it protectionism. India wanted us to cut farm subsidies. We wanted them to open their agricultural markets. Stalemate on every front. But the geopolitical reality, the Russian oil issue went deeper than just economics. This was about the new world order. We spent decades building alliances to contain Russia and China. We gave India billions in defense deals. We brought them into the Quad alliance. We positioned them as our democratic partner in Asia. And then they turn around and become Putin's economic lifeline? That stung. India's perspective, but India saw it differently. For 50 years during the Cold War, America backed Pakistan. sent weapons, sent money, while India stood alone. Russia was there when we weren't. Soviet military equipment kept India defended. That history doesn't just disappear. Plus, India thinks long-term. They share a border with China. They need Russia to not become completely dependent on Beijing. It's geopolitical chess. But Trump didn't care about chess. He cared about the message it sent. Now let's talk about who actually got hurt. American consumers. Your generic medications just got more expensive. That blood pressure pill cost more now. India Pharma supplies 40% of our generic drugs. Tech companies. H-1B visa restrictions tightened. Indian engineers couldn't come work in Silicon Valley as easily. Projects delayed. Innovation slowed. On the Indian side, textile factories in Tirupur and Surat, orders canceled. Workers sent home. Auto parts manufacturers, margins squeezed. Bharat Forge, Motherson Sumi, suddenly fighting to stay competitive. Diamond cutters in Surat, exports dropped 15%. The U.S. was their biggest buyer. American farmers, California almond growers lost a massive market overnight. 70% tariff meant Indian buyers disappeared. Harley-Davidson, already struggling, took another hit. Kentucky bourbon distilleries doubled customs, killed exports. Meanwhile, Putin smiled. India kept buying, kept his economy afloat. Western sanctions looked toothless. Here's what most people don't understand about the oil issue. India isn't just buying Russian oil for themselves. They're refining it, processing it, and selling refined petroleum products to Europe, the same Europe that banned Russian oil. So Russian crude comes into Indian refineries, gets turned into diesel and jet fuel, ships to European ports. Technically legal, morally questionable. And it drove Trump insane. "We're fighting a war against Russia," he said, "and India's playing both sides." India's response? Business is business, and we're not part of your war. The economic modeling came in. If this trade war continues, India's GDP drops 0.3%, $8 to $10 billion in lost exports, 50,000 plus jobs at direct risk. But here's the kicker on the Russian oil front. India saved $12 billion in 2024 by buying discounted Russian oil. That's money that stayed in their economy, money that didn't go to Saudi Arabia or American shale producers. On our side, supply chain disruptions from tariffs, higher costs for American companies sourcing from India, retaliatory tariffs hurting our exporters. And Russia? They lost some revenue from the discount, but kept selling. Three-way lose, sort of, except Putin, who kept his economy running. There were attempts to fix this. June, Modi and Trump had a video call. August, commerce officials met. Both sides came with demands. We wanted complete market access, relaxed data localization rules, stronger IP protection, fair treatment for American companies, and stop buying Russian oil. India wanted, drop the tariffs first, then we'll negotiate. And our energy security is non-negotiable. Classic stalemate. Result? Nothing changed. India actually increased Russian oil imports by 3% in the third quarter. Here's what's really at stake long-term. India will diversify. They're already pivoting to Europe, Middle East, and Africa, even cautiously re-engaging with China on trade. But they're also locking in that Russian relationship. Long-term energy deals, military partnerships. Supply chains are reshaping. Companies learned the hard way. Don't depend on one country. Vietnam, Bangladesh, Mexico, everyone's hedging bets now. India is betting on self-reliance. Atma-Nirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India. They're pushing domestic manufacturing hard. We're pushing friend-shoring, moving supply chains to allies we trust. But India was supposed to be that ally. The irony is bitter. The Russia factor. Most concerning, India and Russia are getting closer. Joint military exercises, rupee-ruble trade arrangements to bypass dollar sanctions, technology transfers. Everything we spent 20 years trying to prevent. Behind every statistic is a person. The software engineer in Bangalore whose transfer to California got canceled. The craftsman in Surat whose orders dried up.
the entrepreneur in Pune who can't expand because investors vanished, the almond farmer in Fresno watching his market disappear, the American worker in Ohio told manufacturing is coming back, but it hasn't, the Ukrainian soldier wondering why the world isn't united against their invader. These policy decisions in Washington and New Delhi, they change real lives, and those people have zero control over it. Trade wars are almost impossible to de-escalate because both leaders have domestic politics to manage. Trump needs to show his base, I'm fighting for you, I'm tough. Modi needs to show India, we won't be pushed around, we are not a puppet. National pride is involved now, and when pride enters the equation, economics takes a back seat. Plus, there's the Ukraine factor. Every day India buys Russian oil, we see it as support for Putin. Every day we pressure India, they see it as neo-colonialism.
So, what happens next? 3 scenarios. Scenario 1. Both sides eventually negotiate. We accept India won't cut off Russia completely. India makes some trade concessions. Everyone saves face. Requires compromise neither leader wants to make. Scenario 2. This becomes the new normal. US-India economic relationship permanently damaged. India moves closer to Russia and a multipolar world order. We lose a potential ally against China. Scenario 3. External crisis forces cooperation. China invades Taiwan. Suddenly, we need India desperately. Trade disputes and oil purchases get shelved overnight. Common enemy reunites us. Right now, we're drifting towards scenario 2, and nobody seems willing to stop it. This whole situation teaches us something fundamental. Globalization is fragile. We built a world where economies are deeply interconnected. Your medicine depends on Indian factories. Their tech sector depends on American markets. Global energy flows through complex channels. But politics can shatter those connections overnight. When 2 major powers collide over principles, trade fairness, geopolitical loyalty, national sovereignty, the whole world economy shakes. And when you add a third player like Russia into the mix, it gets even messier. Trump and Modi are both strong leaders, both doing what they think is right for their countries. Trump sees betrayal and exploitation. Modi sees survival and sovereignty. But here's the reality of tariff wars. Nobody wins. Prices go up, jobs disappear, trust erodes. Russia stays in business, and the regular person, just trying to make a living, pay their bills, build something, gets crushed in between. In economics textbooks, this will be a case study. In geopolitics courses, a lesson in alliance management. But in real life, this is someone's job, someone's business, someone's future. This is a Ukrainian wondering why the world isn't united against their invader. This is an Indian family choosing between heating and eating. This is an American worker promised a factory that never came. And until the leaders actually sit down at the table and work this out, that struggle continues every single day. A tariff war isn't about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's not just about trade deficits or oil barrels. It's about lives and values and what kind of world we're building. And right now, we're building walls instead of bridges.